Alright, welcome to my Camber Access unboxing video. We have here the Camber Access joint. Currently no key is in the lock at the moment, but today we'll be going over everything that came in the packet that we send with the Camber Access joint, and then going over the different keys. I have a link to this document in the description so you can follow along with the chart. This is going to be what we're going to be using majority of the time. But before we get to the keys, let's take a look at the components that were sent. So we have the different colored keys here. These are the two set screws to lock the keys in, as well as the hex key. We do apply Loctite to the keys initially. We start with the silver one placed in there, and these are a little sticky because they have the Loctite on them. So they are it takes a little bit of a grip to get them out. Once you use the hex key and you kind of undo the Loctite, screwing these in by hand is actually pretty easy. You probably would just want to use the hex key to just get it really tight so they don't come out. We do send the extra components that come in the baggie with the Camber Access joint. So we have different extra screws that you can see that we apply on the brace. I'm not actually too sure what we do with these nails. And then I believe that this kind of circle piece goes in between these two metal plates. I'm not 100% sure about that, but that would be my guess. We have two different types of padding, so they send a thick pad. This would be probably more like an Aliplast is my guess. And then this one I'd say is similar to a maybe a Plastizote material. Not exactly what they are, but that's what comes with the Camber Access. We do not apply the padding because, as we know, we have to have an inner boot, so no padding gets attached here. But because it comes with the packet, we send it in case practitioner wants to apply it. And so we do have the different pieces needed to attach. And then lastly, we send the Loctite that we used. I guess this is an unopened package, but it comes with the Camber Access joint. We just use one that we already have opened. But we send the Loctite with it. Okay, let's get to the kind of the meat of the Camber Access joint, which is the keys. So it starts, we apply the silver key. Notice how the bean shape fills up the entire, I guess, shape, the bean. There is no room for movement. So this key is locking the brace at 0 degrees, and the hole is in the middle. So it is locking at 90. And if you have a hard time getting these keys out, sometimes if you can hook it with the hex key, which I'll probably have to do at some point, so you'll see me do that, you can do that as well. The next color would be the red, and so depending on how you put the bean, if you have it so the circle is more towards on this side, the right side, then it would be locked in 5 degrees of dorsiflexion. Or if you flip it, not flip the bean around, but you have to flip the brace around. So I'm gonna pop this out. So I have that same bean, and now the circle is going to be more towards, now on the right side, but on the other side of the brace. So now it's towards the back. You can see it's in 5 degrees of plantar flexion. So this red color bean is locking it in either 5 degrees of plantar flexion or dorsiflexion, depending on how you orient the circle. And then the last one for the locking keys, there is a couple more locking keys. The blue one, same thing, depending on where you put the circle. If you put it towards the back on this side, or if you have it on the front on this side, it will put it in 10 degrees of plantar flexion and keep you there. And then the purple one will lock you into 15 degrees of plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. This side has a little bit more Loctite on it, so it's a little stickier when you put the keys in. And so pop a purple one in here really quick. So this one I have it so the circle is more towards the front, and that would be 15 degrees of dorsiflexion. So that's what this chart's trying to say, is the locked ones can lock it in either 15, 10, 5, or 0 degrees, depending on how you orient the circles. We're going to flip the brace back around to the side that's not as sticky with the Loctite to show you the rest of the keys. So The last three colors that we have is the green, black, and yellow. It gives you a range of motion, so these beans are not going to fill up the entire space. So the green one is actually the smallest. You can see here the circle is all the way in the back for the green one. And I'm going to set the phone down really quick because it's really hard to screw this in with one hand, but I will screw this one in so we can see what the range of motion is. Okay, we only need to screw in one side in order to kind of lock it into place, but of course we'd recommend use both. So it brings it all the way back to 30 degrees, and it can bring it all the way to essentially 0. I think it is even pushing it into a couple degrees of dorsiflexion. If we were to flip the key around and have the circle in the front, then it would be the reverse. So then it would be about 30 degrees of dorsiflexion and bring it back a couple degrees of plantar flexion. Okay, that was the green one. The black one is 5 to 10 degrees, so it's a larger circle, or sorry, larger bean shape. And I will throw it into about 90, and let me just lock this one in really quick. Okay, so I've locked it. I've put the key in at 90 degrees, so it is giving us about, it says 5 to 10 degrees plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. It looks like to me that maybe this is pushing it. I think I would say probably closer to the 5 degree. It's kind of in between, really. All right, and then as always, if you were to flip that key around, although this one kind of looks like it's pretty centered. No, it brings it back a bit. Then it would bring it there. If you were to lock it there, so really, depending on where you lock the circle in, is where you can get that 5 to 10 degree range. Okay. Lastly, the yellow. This one's is a bigger size, so it has a little bit even less plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. It says 7.5 degrees to 10 degrees of motion. So let me lock this one in really quick.